Yo, what's going on, YouTube, and welcome back to Goal Line Hockey. It's your boy, Kevin Forte, and today we have some more updates on the Arizona Coyotes that I'm going to say his name only once today. We are not talking about Jacob Chychrun for once for the Arizona Coyotes, as we got some information this week about their arena situation for next season. As you all know, or most of you may know, this is a situation where they are going to be leaving their home once again. They are going to be leaving Gila River Arena, as they are not allowed to get an extension at the arena. They want to make some updates to the arena so it's more attractive to concerts and events coming into the Arizona area. They're choosing other arenas over Gila River Arena, so unfortunately, in the time that's going to take, it's not going to be quick enough for the NHL season in the off season for them to get some things done. So, unfortunately, they're kind of getting the boot out of Gila River Arena, which means what are the other options for the Coyotes? And we got some real good information here on them. Maybe going to ASU. Yeah, I know that sounds crazy, but that is a legitimate option here. So, there are a couple of other ones. The first one is if they gave a lot of money to Gila River Arena to return, and that is probably the last resort. But if you gave an enticing number to Gila River Arena, your host, they're gonna accept it. But it has to be worth it for them because of the revenue that they're not getting from the concerts, and that's gotta be tough for Meruelo. I think that's, again, he'd rather explore these options, but that is still on the table. They could still consider going back to Gila River Arena, but I don't think it's very likely. And let's be honest, for today's video, I could just stop the video here, and that wouldn't really be fun, right? So the other option is Arizona Veterans Memorial Coliseum, which I think is very interestingly named because here on Long Island we have Nassau Veterans Memorial Coliseum, which it's kind of funny because it's in the same sort of status. They could play in that arena, except it doesn't really fit the NHL number in terms of its facility. It's not really up to NHL standard, so they'd have to basically do what they did to the old Coliseum for the Islanders, which is lots of renovations and lots of money. So that's part of that situation. So that is still an option. The Arizona Veterans Memorial Coliseum, that is on the table. But the more interesting one, the one that we're hearing a lot of traction, is the rumor that they could be going toward closer to their new home as a temporary home. So this is the Coyotes, and this is from Craig Morgan, an Arizona Coyotes insider. The Coyotes are in advanced talks with ASU, which is Arizona State University, to use their new 5,000-seat arena as temporary home for the next 3 to 4 years until the Tempe Arena is done. Now, there's a lot of intangibles to this, because if it was just, all right, we got the arena, let's just go play here, it would be too easy. And unfortunately, that's not really how this works. There's a lot involved in this. So the key thing here, which is a plus, is it is a brand new arena, which is great. But there's a lot of problems to this. And the biggest one is the capacity. Now, at 5,000 seat arena as the capacity, already being probably a detriment, it gets even worse than that because I just finished watching the 32 Thoughts podcast with Elliot Friedman and Jeff Merrick, and they were talking about how, unfortunately, it's probably going to be even less than 5,000 seats if they get to the NHL standard, which is going to mean removing seats because you have to fit a brand new NHL locker room for both the home and away team. You need a gym facility for both the home and road team, specifically the road team, but those all need to be NHL standard, which again could cost another potentially $10 to $15 million in facility upgrades to the already built ASU stadium from Alex Meruelo in order to accommodate. Because the problem is, you could say, Well, why don't you use the ASU Sun Devils locker room? No, 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 no. According to NCAA rules, the NHL cannot use that locker room. That is an NCAA rule, not an NHL rule. So that is something that is completely off the table. So they need to build completely new home and away locker rooms for the NHL in this facility. As well as, like I said, you need a gym and training rooms and medical assistant rooms, all of that. Like, they need to be a completely separate separate entity from the NCAA's facilities for the ASU Sun Devils. So it's not going to be just you kind of plop your team in there. Another interesting point from I think it's the Yotes podcast, Phoenix Sports podcast. They were mentioning about, something that you probably, more of a fan would think. What's the center ice logo going to be? Is it going to be ASU, Arizona State, or is it going to be the Coyotes logo? Right? That's kind of an interesting thing because it's not like the NFL where you see a lot of teams hold the same team, right? Heinz Field, a perfect example in Pittsburgh. You have the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Pitt Panthers. They both play at Heinz Field, yet they're able to change out the end zones. Or MetLife Stadium, in the Meadowlands between the Jets and the Giants. They just interchange the end zones and I guess that's wallpaper surrounding the stadium. You get what I'm saying, right? You can't really do that for the NHL. So we could see Big Ten logos. We could see different logos on the ice that could be kind of interesting during the season. So that's just another little thing that they're going to have to negotiate here, and that's going to be part of the details that hopefully we'll get as things kind of progress. Now, the only thing is, none of this happens if the Coyotes don't have something set up in Tempe as their arena long term, because what's the bridge gap worth if they don't have the Tempe arena confirmed? So the Coyotes first need to make sure the Tempe arena is official and set in stone. And I think there's a lot of reason to believe that that will get done, especially with this potential situation with the Indian Reserve, that if things don't get done in Tempe, they'll build on the Indian Reserve outside of Tempe, but just on the border of Tempe. Build it on the outside of the Indian Reserve, or inside the Indian Reserve, but on the area closest to Tempe. They'd still get the same traffic and the same issues. So at that point, they might as well get the tax dollars and get the building in Tempe, which may be just enough leverage here for the Coyotes and Alex Meruelo to get that done, as well as this stopgap for the next 3 to 4 years. But like I said, at a 3.2 thousand capacity building, that is incredibly small. Just to give you some logistics, you look at the QMJHL. There are 3 teams in the QMJHL, which is a junior hockey league in the Quebec Major Junior League. The Quebec Ramparts have an average attendance, I think, of over 900,000, which is 3 times as much as a sold-out ASU Stadium, mind you. That has to be a sellout, which I'm being kind of facetious with that, but you get what I'm saying, right? The Moncton Wildcats are another one on that list. So, you look at that and you're like, that's, incredible. Those 3 at maximum capacity for this Arizona Coyotes Stadium, how are they making any money here? And that's where a lot of people, this is from the Steve Dangle podcast, basically Steve says, he's like, they're not even a franchise. They're not even there. And I just think it's very frustrating because you know what? I'm understanding what the Coyotes fans are going through, because as an Islander fan for a long time, there was no certainty and really no home base for the Islanders, as kind of a similar situation happened for the Islanders, where the Islanders were playing in Brooklyn at the Barclays Center. They realized it wasn't a long-term fit, and luckily they were able to return to their old barn in Nassau, and they were able to hold off until the new building was built. And, this is going to be a process here for the Coyotes. And the Coyotes are not the only team in this situation. You look at right now in Calgary, a perfect example. The Calgary Flames having some real issues with their new arena. They had something confirmed. Now the city has backed out, and the Flames were asked to put in more money. They didn't, and now they're without a plan moving forward. And truthfully, the biggest thing is the Austin Matthews thing. Austin Matthews, I mean, chances are he could return to Toronto, right? But, I mean, if he wanted to return, does he really want to return for the first 2 years potentially of his contract where he's going to be playing in a college hockey arena? I mean, that's just not feasible. That's just not realistic. And if we're being completely honest, that's not going to happen. And to be honest, where's the money going to come for that? If you're bringing in an average attendance at best of a little over 3,000 fans, like, what are we talking about here? I know you have standing room. Maybe you get that to a little bit more. But the capacity of this building, it's going to be a problem for the Coyotes. And I just don't see how you build on this team when that is your scenario. Like, it's not going to be easy to bring in free agents, and it's not going to be easy to really do much of anything if that's your stance. And listen, I'm going to try and get a game here because I want to see how they work this. I don't know how it's going to even be done, but this is definitely going to be interesting because I've been to hockey arena. I've been to West Point, which is the home of the Black Knights and Army. I've been to a hockey game up there. I've been to a game at Penn State. Fittingly enough, the Buffalo Sabres owner, Terry Pegula, he built that arena, the Pegula Ice Arena in Penn State. So I've been to two of those environments, the college hockey environment. Those are some really small stadiums when you compare that to a professional NHL building. Like, it is totally different. Now, the good thing is there's going to be a raucous atmosphere in those games, but with a very small amount of fans. And definitely something that will be interesting, an interesting storyline to kind of look at. So guys, let me know what you think in the comment section down below. Do you think this is really a feasible option for the Coyotes? And let's be honest, the most interesting thing, what is going to be the center ice logo here? Are we going to have the Coyotes Kachina logo? Are we going to have the Sun Devils golden, I guess, I don't even know what you would call that, the trident sword? Or do we have the Kachina holding the Sun Devil trident sword, right? That would be kind of interesting, right? So maybe we get a little mix of the two. I don't know, right? Let me know what you guys think. Guys, thank you so much for watching this video, and I will see you again next time.